All right, how everybody doing? Welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to show basically another workflow on how you can retarget characters from Unreal Engine to be able to basically bring them into iClone, and you can be able to drag and drop your animations. When it comes to iClone, you have characters there, and in iClone, if you want to pretty much add an animation like a Mixamo, or like I used the XN's mocap suit, if you wanted to drag an animation to it, it'll retarget it for you, and then you can do your adjustments and fine tuning there. In Unreal Engine, when it comes to retargeting, it's not as simple as drag and drop. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to show y'all basically when you're dealing with Unreal Engine, you have those characters that you buy out of the marketplace there, and when you have them there, you have to kind of go through and basically retarget. So here I wanted to show you how you can do another workaround to bring your character from Unreal Engine into iClone and then be able to do that drag and drop. So first off, we need to get this FBX file out. And how we're going to do that, we're going to go to our skeletal mesh for that character. I'm going to right click on it. We're going to go to Asset Actions. There, we're going to go to Export. I am going to, let's go to my desktop. Let's go to Tutorial. We're going to put this in here. I'm just going to call this Sci-Fi Soldier Tutorial. So that's going to be the FBX file. I'm going to save it there. You don't have to worry about anything here. Just hit Export. Now, if you wanted to be able to export out the textures and the material of the clothes, you can do that as well. What I do is here, I'm not trying to do this. I'm trying to make this fairly simple. I'm basically exporting FBX out, and then from there, I'm going to be able to bring in, when I bring it back into Unreal Engine, I can just add back on the materials from here. So I don't have to wait and do that whole export out. So we got the FBX file. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to open up Accurig, and it's going to ask us to basically drag that file that we just created. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go through what I just created, that saved file. Let me find that one real quick. I got it on my other window. I'm going to bring it over. So if you see here, this is what we just created. I'm basically just going to grab that. That's the FBX file of the soldier. I'm going to drag and drop. So this is our character. What I'm going to do is, you can do fine tuning. I'm going to hit rig body. Basically what we're going to be doing here is we're rigging this body. We are going through where we can be able to use it with iClone. And I'm going to leave all of that the same. We're going to rig right because we know we got 5 fingers. We got all of that goodness on each hand. And like I said, I'm just doing this fairly simple and fast for you so you can see how you can be able to not have to worry about the long retargeting process in Unreal Engine. So we're going to rig left hand, and we're going to just finalize this character. All right, so we got our character rigged right here. We can probably do a little bit of acting, see how they look walking. We wanted to check out their hands. And just know you can make little tweaks and adjustments here if you want to as well. I'm not doing that for now, and I'm just kind of showing y'all. I already made a tutorial on how you can actually do that in Accurig as well. But we're going to export this as save iAvatar. And what we're going to do is, let's go back to our desktop. Let's go out to our tutorial. We're going to save that thing right in there. Now we're saved. We can close this bad boy out. What we can do now is we can open up our iClone. In iClone, all we got to do is go to File, Import. We're going to import, and then we're going to go back to our desktop. We're going to go to our tutorials, and we know that this is our iAvatar file. Now we have our character in here. The good thing is, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for an animation. All right, see, we got our character in here. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab one of my animations I made for my Gods Among Who. And the good thing about what we do here, I know I got it on the other window. I can just drag this over here, and it's as simple as a drag and drop. So I drag that over here. I know I used my XNs. I convert, move this off. And now if I scroll down here, let's click on them. And if we scroll down, we have our animation in here. Let me go to my project real fast. Just change this up. We're gonna scale this bad boy. But now I already have my animation in here. If I like how that looks, I can go with that. So this is what we'll do. Now that we have this here, I like what I have as my animation, and now it's time to get this thing back into Unreal Engine. First, what we're going to do is I'm going to go to Export FBX. We can leave all of this the same. I'm having it on current frame, and we're going to embed textures. Not that it's going to have any textures, but we want all of that goodness anyway. So I got current frame. We're going to hit Export. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my tutorial. We're going to save it there, and we will call this is the tutorial, but since I use Character Creator 4, you can label it what you want. I'm going to call it Character Creator 4, CC4. So that export is out. Now, that animation that I have, I like how it is. If I need to do any tweaking, let's say, for instance, if something was wrong, fingers is off, I wanted to move the knee, we already know we can go in and start making adjustments to that. Let me pull this over a little bit so we can see all of it. But if I needed to, I can go through and start to make any kind of adjustments. But I'm just showing y'all how to basically get everything back. All right, so we want to start it here. I can look at that timestamp. I'm at 178 and to 857. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to export the same thing, FBX. I'm going to change this to 30. I'm going to go to range, and I think I said 173 to 857. And now we don't need that because this is just the animation, so we can have it set up just like this. We want to hit export. I'm going to put this in here, and I'm just going to call this tutorial animation 1. So then I can make many as I want, but we're going to make that one right there. So that's going to export. All right, so we're all done here. We can be able to basically save if we want to, get up out. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create something, because now we have our character, our sci-fi character, as well as animation. So you can make a new folder. That's what I'm going to do here. I'm just going to make a new folder. We're going to call this folder tutorial. Tutorial sci-fi. All right, so we're gonna click on there. Now we're in here. Now it's time to bring in that character. Few ways we can do this. Now just remember, when we're using bringing in the characters, you definitely want to go through that steps. I know I talked about that. That's the auto setup. Before the character creator, you should have these things already set. I know in a past tutorial I showed you how you can be able to bring characters from iClone into Unreal Engine, and it's a free thing. It's just a little, not even a plugin, but you basically got to go through. I made a tutorial, like I said, on that when it comes to the workflow, but we already have those things in here. So now it's basically time to open up that tutorial. We see what we have in here. We know that this is a character. We want to bring that character in first. So we're going to use HQ shader. We're going to hit OK. We don't need to touch anything, but let's just say, I'm saying we don't need to touch anything because I have this thing set up. All right, so when this is on now, what we want to do is we want to look at what I have here. We want to make sure that you have the use TL as rev pose. You want to click the preserve smooth groupings. Basically copy the steps that I have here. To import morph targets, compute weighted normals. We're going to go down. All right, you're going to import animations. You want to have that checked. You want to have the import attributes checked, as well as the import bone tracks and all of these. Let's scroll one more time so you can see everything at the bottom. Basically, just do a lot of copying. That's what we do here, so we can figure it out and learn that way. Now I'm going to import. And while I'm importing this, I'm probably going to fast forward it because we are importing an animation character, so it's going to take a little bit of time. All right, so we have it imported. As we can see, we have our character TC4 that we just brought in. Now what we can do is we can drag him and bring him out. He is there. All right, so at the same time too, we have no textures on here because remember, I didn't export him out with any textures. The good thing is all you have to do is if you click on this character, if we go to our right, let's move this up a little bit just so we can see it a little bit more. See, all the material is shaded white. And that means but it's still labeled correctly. See that? So all you do is if you click on this, if you look right on top of it, you would see that same one there. That's exactly, look how we're starting to label him up. Let's actually move him a little bit forward so we can have him slowly get rebuilt in front of our eyes. So we're going to see him get slowly built. So we're basically just going to go through. If you click, this is the name of the material. And then you can see on top, that's the material. So I'm just going to click on all of these. And what we're doing is we're adding in that material for the character. We're basically using his. We're just copying exactly because it's the same name. So it'll be in the same file. Now, you can do it this way, or you can be able to take the time to export all of the material the same way that I did the FBX file. To me, I like doing it this way because I don't want to sit there and watch the whole export thing happen. All right, this is on the inside. We really don't need to worry about a lot of this stuff. You know what I mean? But I'm still going through and we're going to click it. So right here, we have him fully decked out. Now, what we're going to also have to do now is I'm going to make a new folder. This is going to be called animation. Because remember, we made an animation for him. So now we got to import that animation. This is probably going to take some time. So I'm going to drag and drop this bad boy as well. And then probably fast forward a little bit of it. Tutorial animation, we're going to drop that. So let's show you how you put that one in here. HQ shader, same thing. This time we want to make sure that we grab, because this is animation, we want to basically connect it to a character. If we go to a sci-fi robots, I probably got a couple in here. We got the CC4, but this is the tutorial one. So we got sci-fi, air soldier, CC4 skeleton. Right there, that's it. Sci-fi soldier tutorial CC4. So I'm going to click on that one. Now what we're going to do is we don't need to bring in the full texture and everything. All we're doing is we're just bringing in that animation. So I don't need to import mesh. We're going to uncheck that. If we look down here, we're going to make sure we copy exactly what I have in here. All right, you can see that. And then we'll go to import all. And then it's going to take some time because we are importing an animation. So I'll be fast forwarding through this as well. All right, so we have the animation imported in. A good way to test it out, what we can see is if we click on our character, we go to use animation blueprint, we can go to use animation asset. We can actually click on this animation right here. That's the animation that we just made. See how he already stops and goes down. What you're going to do is to see it in your editor and not in your sequence, you want to scroll to skeletal mesh. That's skeletal mesh right there. If you say update animation in editor, he's going to actually go through that animation that you just did. Oh, damn, we got him walking through the wall. All right, so that kind of wraps up a little bit of what I wanted to show. It's just another workflow of how to be able to go through the process of taking out a character in Unreal Engine, probably from the marketplace, and basically bringing them into Accurig, having them get rigged there, taking them into iClone, and then you can do all your iClone things if iClone workflow is what you want to go with. And like I said, sometimes people will say, why would I want to go through this? You don't have to go through this. I'm just showing you another step. All right, for the most part, that is going to wrap up this video right here. It just shows you another way. I'm not saying it's the best way. It's not the way you probably need to do all the time, but it's just another way. So hopefully this helped you out. Get out there, keep creating, and I'll talk to you later.